This video we're going to learn the chord, strumming and melody to the song Spancil Hill. Let's get going. Hey, it's Adon here, adoncoin.com, where I teach you how to play in DADGAD guitar. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about Irish backing, songs and other guitar techniques, click the subscribe button now and the bell so you don't miss out on anything. So the song is in 3/4 times, so that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you want the 1 to have a bit of a push. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So throughout the song, each chord is played twice with that rhythm, that 3/4 rhythm. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, C, C, A minor, D5, D5. So let's start with this D minor chord. So we have the first finger on the 2nd fret of that G string, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of that middle D string, little finger is on the 5th fret of the low A. So that's our D minor chord, and that's going to be our home chord. So from here, we play that twice, and then we're going into this C shape. So that's the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of that low A, 1st finger on the 2nd fret of that middle D, 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the high A. So from the top, it's last night as I lay dreaming. So that's D minor, C, C. Next chord after that is an easy one. We just lift off our 2nd finger from that C chord. We got our A minor. So here's our C. And then we lift off that 2nd finger to get our A minor. So from the top, that's last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days. And then we're going to this D5, which is just a 1-finger chord. You can call it a D modal or D5, or just a D if you want. So that's 1st finger on the 2nd fret of that G string. So from the top there, it's last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by. So let's go through the chords. We have the D minor, C, C, A minor, and D, D. So the next line we have this D minor, and again D minor, C, C, and G major, G major. So that's me mind being bent on rambling to Ireland I did fly. Cool, so let's go through that. We have the D minor, which we've covered, and again, and we have the C, another one we've covered, and we have this G major now. So just a little bit of theory. This song is in the mode of D Dorian, so this G major chord works. If that means anything to you. If not, don't worry, we'll just play it. So it's the 2nd finger on the 5th fret of that low D, 3rd finger is on the 5th fret of that low A, little finger is in the 5th fret of that D, middle D, and 1st finger is on the 4th fret of that G. So going through it, we have D minor, again D minor, then C, C, and G, G. From the top we have last night as I lay into the C, C, A minor, D5, D5. Me mind being bent on rambling to C, and C, and G, and G. Next line, I stepped on board a vision, I followed with the world. So that's the D minor again, D minor. Then we have this F major shape. So it's exactly like the G major shape we did, except it's down on the 3rd fret, and our 1st finger is on the 2nd fret of that G. So we have D minor, again, D minor, F major, and then we C. I stepped on board a vision and I followed with a will. Finishing on that C. Then the last line is the same as the first, so that's D minor, C, C, A minor, D modal, or D5. Till next I came to anchor at the cross of Spancil Hill. So let's go from the top. That's last night as I lay dreaming, and then A minor and D5. Me mind being bent on rambling to C and to G. I stepped on board a vision and I followed with a C, and then finished off D minor, C, and A minor, and D5. After that, all the verses are the exact same, so that's pretty much the whole song. But for anyone that wants to add in some extra melody into that, let's go and learn the melody now. If you're enjoying the video so far, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions, do leave them in the comments. I answer everyone. So here's how I play the melody just to break up the song a bit. And then you'll be back into the verse. So let's give that a go. So to practice this melody, I'd say start with the single notes first, and then adding that into the strum. So that's how we'll go about it. So starting with this first finger on the second fret of that G string, then we have the open D, back to the first finger, then finger and then the open G, and then we have a pull off. A pull off on this second fret of the middle D string, and you're just dragging it, pulling off onto that D, open D, and then we're playing the third fret of that A string. So that pull off once again. And then when you add it into the strum, I might just get a bit of practice to kind of get it with that 3/4 rhythm. But start with the single notes first. So after playing that C note on the third fret of the A string, then we have, which is open D, first finger on the second fret of that D string, then we have the open G and the open A. So from the top, that's, and then we just have 3 notes left in that phrase. So that's open D, back to that C note, and back to that open D again. So once again from the top. This is where it gets a bit more interesting. We have, so let's go for that. We have the, back to that second fret of that G string. Then we're playing these octave notes. So it's D, 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 basically. So the shape is first finger on the 5th fret of that A string. And then we have also the third finger on the 7th fret of that G string. And we're sliding that shape up, back down, and we're going to the 3rd and 5th fret, and back to this first note. So that's first note, up to the 5th and 7th, playing twice, up to the 7th and 9th, back to the 5th and 7th, 3rd and 5th, and then back to this home note. All together. So the reason I'm using these octave notes is because it kind of keeps that big open sound going with the strum. If I was to do single notes, it works, but it's just not as big, I think, as these octave shapes. So let's continue on. So the next section is like this. So we have this octave shape on the 2nd and 4th, sliding it up to third and fifth. And then instead of going all the way up to the fifth and seventh again, I just do an upstroke on that high D. So, and then back down. And then we finish with this C. So going through that again, we have the one more. So we go from the top. Do one more. And basically now we've covered it all, so it's just repeated. So we go. Then back to the start. We just have this one link back to the start. And then. So that link might be the trickiest part of it. You're going 3, 2, and then the open A. And the reason it's tricky is because you're going from this C, and from here, that's the 3, 2, and then you want to get your first finger in really to get that nice full chord. So that might be a bit of a tricky transition. But then we are back to the start. So then all together. So once again, it's that link that might be tricky because it's quite fast. So then once you have the melody down, it's just a case of trying to link it in with the strum. That might take a while, but just remember it's kind of, you're just going for a taste of the melody. You don't have to get everything 100% right, so it'll still work. Well, I hope you got something from that. That's how I play Spancil Hill. If you did, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any song suggestions or tune suggestions, do let me know. If you'd like to listen to my full version of Spancil Hill, I'll leave that in the description. And there's plenty more songs here that you can check out. I'll talk to you on the next one. All the best.